So when you heal, when you choose to heal, when you start doing the healing work and you start forgiving yourself, forgiving others, and I'm so like big on healing because I'm not a saint, right? There were things that I wasn't proud of, right? I wasn't proud of certain things that I did, um, of the way that I carried myself at times, right? I wasn't proud of that. I even felt shamed for the things that were done to me, and I took it on as if it was me that did it, that I allowed it to happen and I didn't say anything about it. And so I walked around with that shame, right? And after going ahead and healing and like going ahead and looking at myself for who I was, looking at the people for who they were, uh, identifying what spirits were operating through them, detaching the person, the title of that person from that spirit, right? And doing the same thing with me, I was able to come to a space of acceptance, of unconditional acceptance of what was and what is, right? And when I detach from the programming of like the titles of um, certain things that like people say or society says it has to be this way, and it was revealed to me that some of these experiences, or most of them, we must go through them because that's part of our life's journey, right? And so when I was able to understand that and believe it, right, the relief I felt as a human being, as a woman, I felt relieved. I was able to get my confidence back because I no longer was living in shame, right? Um, it was to the point where it was revealed to me. It was like, Susan, there are women who in past lives they were nuns, right? And in this lifetime, they went ahead and they were a little bit, promiscuous or something because that was part of their journey, right? And then you have the other one where somebody might be in jail, had the experience of being in jail. And then this time around, they were working for the Lord or something like that, or vice versa, because the point of the human experience is to experience all of humanity, all that the world has to offer, and master it. And by mastering, I mean mastering your emotions, mastering your feelings, mastering forgiveness, mastering acceptance, mastering unconditional love, and then going back to source. So going back to basics, going back to the original form that you were created to be in, which is bliss. Like our birthright is abundance, our birthright is bliss, our birthright is unconditional love, right? And so because of all the programming of the the things put on television, the things that religion says, the things that society says, we don't see what we're supposed to see, and we don't remember what we came here to do. And what I found is, because the way that I'm coming to realize that there are many forms that people could get to this point, but the point that I found that works is through forgiving it all, detaching from the programming, removing the titles from people, seeing them for what they are and how they operate, right? What spirits are operating through them, and then starving out those spirits, not engaging with those spirits, because the one of the things that I learned was that in order for me to not get contaminated with those spirits or make it flourish, I had to starve it out. Just like if it was an addiction, like with an addiction, you go ahead and you abstain from it. So the same thing with people who choose to operate in spirits that are harmful to us, where they are creating more harm there than good. So we starve them out. We don't entertain them, right? And then what happens when anything that you don't feed it dies, right? Or anything that has a narrative going on and you're not participating in it, you're putting a mirror to their face, like, look at yourself. This is what you came here to do. right? So, again, I say this because there are so many of us out there, and I don't think this is like just for specific people, for special people. There's nothing special about this at all. Anybody could do this. There's nothing like, oh my God, you're chosen. No, yes, I am, pero that's not the case here. That's not the case here. I did this before I knew who I was. You get what I'm saying? There's nothing special here. We are all chosen in a way. We all come from God, first of all. We are all one with Creator Source. Now, the way to get connected to God, you know, is by healing, by you could do it in different ways. Like you could go ahead and do the meditation thing where you calm down your nervous system, but through going by healing, by choosing to heal, by choosing to forgive, by detaching from the programming, by not passing judgment, you also go ahead and you regulate your nervous system by doing that as well. Because what do you think happens when you forgive people? What do you think happens when you don't pass judgment, when you come to the point of complete acceptance, right? You make space for yourself. You're able to breathe better. You're able to walk with your head held high, and you're able to walk in peace. Because no longer are you carrying any guilt or any shame for whatever was done to you or what you did. Because guess what? It was part of your story. We come here to learn, to experience humanity in all its ways. Yes, that includes the addictions. Yes, that includes the lust. Yes, that includes the deal doing things that are not so legal sometimes, right? And then we go ahead and what happens? There's a law called cause and effect, right? So you go ahead and you do that, and what happens? You end up in jail, or you end up here, or you get sick, or something like that, because there's a law of cause and effect. So it doesn't mean like, oh my God, it's written in my contract that I was supposed to do that, I get a pass. No, honey. You go ahead and you do that, and you reap the consequences, and you gain the experience, the lesson of not to do that again. But when you look at it like this and you understand it to be like that guilt, the shame, the remorse, you don't hold it in anymore, where to the point where it consumes you, where you are ashamed. And let's talk about fear. Fear of what? Once you realize that this is a school and that you came here under contract, right? That you're here just, learning lessons, experiencing life as it is, right? You want to forgive. Why? Because you'll know that anything that you don't forgive, anything that you pass judgment on, anything that you discredit or have problems with, you're going to repeat that, honey, until you gain the lesson. That's why it's important to leave all your relationships with peace, love, and light. Because I'm not seeing you. Me, there are some of us here that chose to come here to teach this. All right, this is not our first rodeo. So when we choose to experience certain things, to go through certain things, get the lessons, and the point of all of it, or the point of all of it, is a big game. The point of it all is to be able to return back to source that lives within us. There is nothing outside of us. It's all within us. And once we understand that, we don't move with fear. Fear of what? Fear of what? We understand that death is not real because energy doesn't die and our soul is energy. So hello. Fear of what? I'm just saying.